Good morning, everyone. Tony Melo Properties Team. Hope you're doing well. We are still working, we'll continue working on this rental where we are purchasing a property, two-family in Taunton, with the idea that we're going to be looking for, or try to at least, look for renters that want to become buyers within a 1 to 2 year time frame. So, for those that haven't seen this yet, um, there's two apartments, first floor, second floor, and we're working on the property right now. Hopefully, we'll be done with it the end of next month. Maybe we're hoping. We've got contractors coming and going for certain things. See what we can't afford to change. There's certain things that we'd like to change over there. We'll see how that goes. We're working on all that, painting, cleaning, fixing, that kind of thing. All right. So um, the idea again is, and I've been sending some of this stuff out to certain Facebook pages on certain days. The idea again is that we're going to rent one of our available rentals. In this case, this particular address that we have, while we work side by side to get the person that is renting the apartment ready to buy a home at a point down the road, within a year, within 2 years. We need to stick to that 2 year time frame. So it's going to be ideally for the people that are close enough, or very close to being able to buy. They just need that extra little help to get to that point. As and if this idea continues to work, and we will buy more properties. As we buy more properties, we'll be able to service a range of people. People that are close, just need a little bit of help. People that need a little bit more help. People that need a lot of help. We'll be able to potentially service all of those folks. But for right now, since this is only the only building that we're using to be able to do this, and there's only two available rentals, we're going to stick to the people that just need a little bit of help. Help them with the income, help them with the down deposits, credits, stuff that they need to be able to buy a house. So, all right. So I started a conversation in the whole advertisement. The way we describe what we're trying to do is changing a little bit as we meet a few folks. They present their position. We check into it, and we figure out, what is reasonable, what's not reasonable, what's going to be doable, what's not going to be doable. Um, so we're moving down that path to figure out what is it that we're doing, what is it that we want to do, what is it that we need to do, what are we looking for, how can we serve people the fastest possible, and then just develop it from there. All right, so the idea again, if you haven't seen anything else that I've done, the first phase is going to be the rental phase, where you rent with us. We'll sign you up with a month-to-month rental agreement, and then from day one, before even day one, and I'll explain in a second, you're going to be already in process with a lender, to start checking out the idea of where your position is, because it's important for us in this case to know where your position is before we start the rental process, and then hit the ground running once you start renting, because we'll already know all that information beforehand. So, but the basic idea, phase one, we rent an apartment to you. In the past 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks that we've been advertising this, and because we've been doing this rental stuff, we've done it in the past. We've done it for quite a few years. I can kind of sense when somebody is looking for information on a rental and they have no intentions in ever buying a home, getting out of the apartments. I'd like the frame of thinking for the person that is renting the place to, yes, you need to know what it is that the apartment has, how many beds, because you're going to be living there at least a year, maybe two. But some of these folks, the intent, the questioning, the feel of the questioning was more of a longer term idea. Me personally, I'd like the folks that we put into the rental to understand. You know what I mean? Yes, you gotta. It has to meet some basic functions, the apartment, but don't think that you're going to. I'd prefer that to have the mindset of I just need it to meet the basic functions of what I need because I am not going to be there long enough to care about the entire things of everything that I need. So just the basics. The apartments are great apartments. We're fixing them up so they're going to be freshly painted, clean, functioning, the whole 9 yards. But again, if I sense that somebody is asking questions and they don't have any intentions of ever buying a home, that's not going to match what we're trying to do here. So we're trying to service as many people as we possibly can. I know that there are people out there that rent, that don't want to rent, that want to buy. There's a spectrum of those people. Some are close, some are not close. Right now, because we only have a limited amount of rentals, we have to stick to the ones that are close to being able to buy the 1 year to 2 years, get them ready to get them out. And I've said this in previous videos where the intent of most property owners is to find a tenant, a renter, a resident, and keep them forever. That is not our intent. We're actually the opposite of that. We'd like to put somebody in and then get them out as fast as possible. Hopefully, maybe even having a waiting list so we already have somebody set up ahead of time to fill that vacancy as the renter becomes a buyer, gets out of the apartment. We already have somebody in place to put in their place and process them to that same point. So we'll see how this all works. I've got the ideas in my head. I just need to make the ideas real. All right. So phase one rental, knowing well in advance what the condition of the person is before the rental phase, during the rental phase, work with that person, family group, during the rental phase to improve those numbers so that within a time frame of 1 year to 2 years, we will be at the point where we can help them purchase a property. That's the basic idea. We will have set you up on MLS, the multiple listing service, right from the start, so that right from the start you'll be getting property matches on what you think at that point it is that you want, the size, shape, style, location of the property, the potential purchase price of the property. That way, you can at least get used to MLS. You can see that the emails come in. You look at the houses. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. That's nice. That's nice. And then by the time that we get to the purchase phase, you're already accustomed to the MLS. So we'll set you up on that ahead of time. Again, we'll be working with you side by side right from the start so that we're kind of getting you to that point and doing it, I want to say slowly, but slowly within that 1 or 2 years. Once we get to the purchase phase, then at that point you're already accustomed to MLS, and now you're just requesting showings, and we're showing your homes, and you'll have your pre-approval hopefully by that point. We'll have a very good understanding of your condition, your situation, and making sure that you're ready to go. So 2 phases, the rental phase and the purchase phase, hopefully 1 to 2 years between those two. I can send you some of this stuff. I've been throwing some of my notes down on paper so that I can kind of stay organized, and then when I do advertise to the Facebook pages, I've got some basic information. I did have a longer draft, which is our standard way of putting the information down to explain to people what it is, where it is, gas, oil, electric, this, that, pets included, not included, all that stuff that people ask questions. People were getting, not crazy, but, I don't mind answering questions that are legitimate questions. It's when they are complaining about the piddly things that drives me nuts. I don't have the time for it or the patience. So I went to just a very basic idea, and then instead of trying to describe, explain everything, a lot of it's coming soon, coming soon, coming soon, anyways, because it's just not ready. I just gave them just the basic. Here's the idea: phase one rent, phase two purchase. Call me, text me, message me, and we'll go over the details. That'll get rid of the people that have no intentions in doing anything other than complaining about everything, anyways. I simply just don't have the patience to deal with the, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do that. I can. Yeah, I've been doing it for many, many years. I know what I can and can't do. If it's on there, it's because I can do it. So I'm trying to stay away from those folks because they just tweak my nerves, and it doesn't do me any good. I've gotten too busy with other stuff trying to get this thing ready. All right, so enough of that. Rental phase, purchase phase, 1 or 2 years. Find folks that are very close. Help them get over that last hurdle, the last speed bump. Had a conversation with someone yesterday, where new things are coming up that we're thinking of and developing and considering. This particular person yesterday, and it's not that I didn't know about charge offs on a credit report. If you're not familiar with that, that is when you owed money to somebody, a credit card or something, didn't pay for a number of months. The credit card or whoever decided after you're not paying, you haven't paid for X amount of months, they looked at your situation and decided that you're never going to pay. So what they do at that point in time is they put their hands up and quit. They charge it off. They take it as a loss and stop chasing that money. That obviously is not good for your credit score, your credit report. This particular person I spoke to yesterday messaged back and forth, had multiple charge-offs. Typically, it's a 7-year waiting period between the time that the charge-off happens to when it drops off your credit report and your credit starts getting better. After talking to the lender, a lender, the one that we're going to be using, we're going to be trying to use in this situation, he said somewhere between 2 and 7. It really just depends on credit score, income, debt to income ratios, other things. If you make a ton of money, money down. If you make a ton of money, you have really high income at your work or wherever you work or whatever you do. If you're bringing in a lot of money, that affects that time frame between the 2 to 7 years. If you have a ton of money to put down, that affects the 2 to 7 years. So it depends on the scenario. It gets complicated for this initial phase of things since it's a brand new thing for us. I prefer to stay away from the folks that have the charge offs, so just so that we can kind of process people, get accustomed to how this is going to work, prove it out that it is going to work, and then go from there. So again, we're trying to look for those folks that are almost at that point where they could do it without our help, but they just need that extra little bit of side by side with me and the lender, and back and forth between getting the credit touched up, the income. There's nothing much I can do. It's whatever job you've got is the job that you've got. The money that you're making is the money that you're making. So credit, income, and then down deposit. Down deposit, there's a few options, and that might be available. We'll go over those things as far as what we can and can't do. I'll be advertising this in a few seconds on one of the Facebook pages. Today's Thursday. I forget which one it is. Here is an email that I sent Tuesday, 2 days ago, to the lender. He has not yet been able to review it, to get back to me. We were supposed to meet in person this week. He's busy, I'm busy. So I started with the email. Hopefully we can kind of start discussing some of this stuff through the email, and then at some point in time get together in person, discuss it further, start putting together some kind of marketing or seminars or something like that where we can meet folks online or something to start going through things. All right, so usually when you have a rental, a property owner has a rental, you'll have an application process, a credit and eviction history check, Um, in this case, because we are more concerned with the person, the prospect's ability to buy a home at a certain point in time, I think what we're gonna do is we haven't had a response on this yet, but I think what we're gonna do is with the initial advertising, we're going to put the link to the loan application up front first. So you'll go, instead of filling out our application and credit eviction history, you're going to go to Raise, the lender's website, which is this one. This is basically the link for everybody that wants to start an application to be able to buy a home and get pre-approved. Standard stuff. You put in your email, put in your name, put in your phone number, blah 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 blah, on and on and on. All the information that he needs. He will eventually need, driver's license, bank statements, tax returns, W-2 forms. It is a good practice, even if you're not ready. That's perfectly fine. It is a good practice to start getting this stuff moving forward. Once he gets this, he can look at it, he can process it, and he can give me an idea of where you stand currently. Are you a year away? Are you 10 years away? Are you 15 years away? He'll be able to, with this information, get us to that point. So I think this makes more sense to start here as opposed to, if I can find that, where did I have that? Was the email. As opposed to our application with our credit pull. Now, I do need to know if you have been evicted in the past. That shows your past. It shows that you have or haven't paid your rent. There's no sense in putting somebody into the apartment that is not going to pay their rent. So that's just going to mess up people further down the line in our ability to help those people further down the line. So we need folks that, that are going to pay their rent, that are going to be able to stick to the plan so that we can help them go from position A to position B, which is where they want to be. So I'm not sure if you can read this or not, but this is just basically my conversation to him. I'm going to put his loan application first. If it gets a yes from him, yes, they should be able to, if they do a certain thing within the next year, within maybe the next 2 years. I don't want to go too much further than 2 years. Other than that, we're starting to become a long-term rental. If he says yes, we go straight to maybe our application, maybe our credit and eviction history phase. Now, if his application, one, if you can share it, and two, if it checks for unlawful detainers, which is the evictions, then I may not need our application or credit reports at all. So that'd be great. But I don't know that as a fact right now, whether or not, one, he can share it, and two, if it contains that information. If his answer to that is no, I can't share it, and no, it doesn't have the eviction history on it, then I'm forced to do our own application, a one-page thing, two-page thing, and pull that credit and eviction history. So a lot of people might go, oh my God, there's going to be a credit pull up here and a credit pull down here. Yeah, there is. They're soft pulls, so they shouldn't affect your, especially putting them too close together, by any large amount that you care about in the year or 2 years. So unfortunately, we have to do what we have to do on the front end here to make sure that we know what's going on, have a good understanding of where you stand and where you would need to be, and that we're not getting ourselves, as far as our application credits, eviction history, that we're not getting ourselves into a situation where again, we're hurting ourselves and we're hurting everybody else that we could have put into the apartment to be helping them out. So, yes, we are being selective. Yes, we need to make sure that we know the situation. Again, not just for us, but for everybody else that we're trying to help, that will eventually be on a waiting list. All right, so that is this first section of the question of this email to this lender. This lender works for a company called CMG, Shamrock. It's a dual kind of thing. but that's the company that he works for. He's running that. They have a program called Home Fund It. So again, the things that you need when you need to buy a house is you need credit. You need to have some kind of history of you can pay your debts. That's what they're looking for, to be comfortable with giving you the money to buy the home. Credit, income. Again, I can't help you with that. Whatever it is that you're making is what you're making. Hopefully, it's enough that makes them comfortable that you can do what you need to do in the time frame that you need to do it in the 1 or 2 years. Down payment. So depending on the loan program that you have, a conventional or an FHA or a VA, the amount of money that you need upfront to pay down that mortgage. Most places don't give you 100% of the money that you need to purchase the property, is basically what I'm saying. They'll fund you 80%, for example, and you have to come up with the other 20%, or 85 whatever, 95 whatever. There's a percentage of money that they will require that you have and you put down into the deal to pay down or on that purchase price. It comes off of the top. So you'll need that down deposit already in the bank, unless you're getting it from other sources, which I'll explain in a second. So again, just to kind of go over it, make sure I'm clear. Credit, income, and down deposits. Now, in addition to the down deposit, there's also closing costs, certain costs to the buyer that has to be paid at closing. That is money that is used to pay people to do whatever it is that they need to do to help you close on the loan. That includes lawyers, the lender gets paid, all that stuff. So there's closing costs. There may also be prepaids where the lender says, all right, you need to have a down deposit to pay down a portion of the loan. You need to have closing costs to pay people at the closing to do the certain things that they're doing to help you buy the house. And then you may need prepaids. Prepaids are an additional amount of money in the bank that is kind of like a rainy day fund. Right. And so that you've got, if you have issues with something immediately, you've got money. Reserves is what I should have said, not prepaids, reserves. To pay certain things just in case you have an issue up front. Sometimes they require, sometimes they don't, sometimes they ask, sometimes they don't. We can get into that kind of thing once we get into the process. You fill out that application, you can ask that question, what do I need? Do I need the down deposit, the closing costs, and do I need reserves? Prepaids, I think, are usually built into the loan. Prepaids is for like the home insurance and the taxes. You set up an account and an escrow account up front that gets paid from the money that you're paying every single month, or the money that you had paid initially, and then the money you pay every single month goes to continue funding and filling that escrow account. So Home Fund It, all right, is this guy here. Again, it comes from Shamrock and the CMG Mortgage Group. It is a program where they try to help you to raise the funds for the down deposit, maybe even closing costs, the down payment and the closing costs. Raise funds. Basically, you can raise funds, put it in an account that they help you with, and then you can use, that's your money, you can use that money to buy the home in those ways. I won't go through the whole thing of what they do and how they do it. There's another video that I created a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago on this. Maybe I'll include that. Or if you go on here, and you kind of work through this, it'll explain it. I'm sure there's videos on here that how it works. Go through that. If you have any questions after that, we'll expand on that. But the basic idea is, this is a hurdle, you need the money to put down on the loan, whatever that is. It's different for different people, different loan types, and closing costs. This is a good way to do it. Check it out. We'll answer questions if you don't understand certain things. Alright, so that's the Home Fund It. There's the link to go to that page to get that information. Part of the home fund is the down payment closing costs, but if for whatever reason you can't do it here, or maybe you can combine these two things, there are certain nonprofit organizations out there that, for example, you take a course with them, pay $75 or something like that. They tell you some of the basics of buying and owning a home, with the idea that if you know up front some of the difficulties of owning a home, that the chances of you foreclosing is less. That's the whole reason for the homeowners course. And because of that, they will grant the money. Grant would be giving you the money to put down all of the money, or a portion of the money, whatever it is. We can get you into that. We can figure out the details of that. That grant money comes and goes. So sometimes it's available, sometimes it's not. We'll ask that question with that whichever group that we're asking questions of, to get an idea if there's help with that. It's part of that whole idea of the first-time home buyer kind of thing. When people ask about first-time home buyer, it's usually that they're asking about what kind of help can they get to be able to buy. All right, so typically, I usually in my advertisements put a credit score. We're looking for this credit score or better. Obviously, in this case, because we know that the people that we're trying to attract to the property need help with their credit score, I don't want to put 650 or 670 or something like that, because at that point they can, as long as they have some of the other requirements, could buy the house right up front. So the credit score is going to be lower than what we would have normally asked for. The question to the lender in this email that I sent the other day was, if I do give people a target credit score, what is that credit score? What is your opinion of what that credit score should be, that you can fix within that 1 year or 2 years? I think for right now, I'm going to just leave it to subject to review and let him do his thing, and he can tell me, or to be determined, and not actually put a hard credit score in there. Our normal, back when we were doing this kind of stuff 2-3 years ago, we had long-term rental properties and we were helping people rent. At that time it was just a long-term rental, just rent and stay forever. This is different again. This is the opposite of that. At that time when we were doing that, I believe our number was we were comfortable with 650. If we could find people that had a credit score of 650, they were reasonable enough of a risk to go ahead and try to rent to them. So that obviously means that I should be more comfortable. I should be comfortable with a score at least 650 for sure, or just under that. So again, I'm not going to answer that question. I'm going to let him answer that question once he gets his application filled out. He can tell me, all right, they're at 580, and at 580 we need 620 or 630 or 650. I should be able to get them up 30 points in a year, 30, 60. We can get them maybe into the 650 range or something like that. So just to give you an idea of the thought process. So that's a thing. Yeah. So we're at this phase where we're trying to figure out, what is it that we're doing? How do I present this to people? How do I explain it to them? What is the process? What do I have them fill out first? And I think at this stage, today is 5/29, Thursday. I think at this stage we're going to have you guys fill out the loan application. Obviously, he's going to say no at that point, because you're filling it out with the idea that you know that you can't. That's why we're doing the rental. But it begins the process for him to take a look at what your situation is, give me feedback on whether or not we can make you ready within that 1 or 2 years, and then go from there with anything else that we need to do. Start setting up the process right from the start, like I said, before we even start, and then go from there. So, all right, email. I'm assuming he'll probably get back to me today or tomorrow, or soon, on this idea, and then we can go from there. Once we get a good plan put together, here's what we're doing, here's how we're doing it, here's the order that we're doing it in. Then we'll do seminars and create videos and email and market people. We could do open houses, but open houses, he doesn't want to waste his time going there and no one show up. I don't want to go there and waste my time with no one showing up. So open houses are great. I know real estate agents do that. I've done many of them. Sometimes people show, some people don't, on both the rental and the sales side. We're going to try this first. Seminars, videos, it'll be a pull system. We'll create it, we'll throw it out there. People can use it whenever they need to, when they get home from work, 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. And then if we get to it, do the open houses where we'll dedicate a day. Maybe he'll be there with us with his laptop, and he can kind of take care of people right from the start. We'll do this first. We'll do this last if we have to. You can tell that I don't want to do the open houses unless I think they're going to be productive. If they're going to be productive, then I have no problem doing them, but only if they're going to be productive. All right, so enough of my rambling. Today's Thursday. I'm going to go set up probably, I don't know, this basic thing. Here's stuff that we're looking at fixing in the house, or kind of got a list of stuff that we're looking at getting quotes for. Not that they necessarily need it. It's livable, but we want to do what we need to do to have a good quality product, and I want to make sure that even if we can't do all of them initially, we're going to be doing them at some point in time down the road. I'm going to be advertising this one. This is the real simple one, and I may just add in Ray's link and say, here you go, here's the first step. Go do this. Have him look at it. I'll have a discussion with Ray. We'll figure out, some of the questions that I'm asking here, and then we may or may not do this depending on what he says, and go from there. So that's today's report. We are currently working on the property, painting, cleaning, fixing, upgrading bathrooms, and then working on this list of stuff that we need to do. I already had some quotes for driveways, electrical house meter. I got to chase down an electrician. Window screens I can do myself. Just pull the windows out, bring it over to Silver City Glass or Center Glass, which we've used a couple times in the past. Stairs we've got a quote for. I think we're good. We know what we're doing there. There's going to be some structural stuff that we're going to be separating certain things, giving people access to certain parts of the basement, in sheds and whatnot, and then a lead test at some point in time. So I'd like to get certain things for sure done before we put people in. There's certain things that we can potentially, depending on the quote prices. I know that this was like a 10 grand. This was 10 grand. Depending on our ability to do it, we can decide on whether or not we need to do it right now or it's a future project. But we're working on that. Goal of getting people in. I know that'll be a question. When will it be ready? We are at the end of May. We would like to be done, at least make it showable, get the paint and supplies and tools out of the way so that we can bring people through by the end of next month. End of June is the goal. We may not have everything here done. Probably won't have everything done, but we'll have it close enough to showable that at least you can go and take a look of the space, or at least I can take a video of it, put it online. You can look at it that way. That'll be kind of a phase 1 view, and then the phase 2 view would be actually physically going to look at it. So yeah, that's where we are with this. The biggest development between this video and the videos I've done in the past is that we're going to start with Ray Severance's home loan application first, get that information put into his system. It'll stay there between all the phases. He'll need to upgrade and update the information in year 1, year 2. As as the time goes on, things will change. We'll have to fix things, but he'll already have an application. He'll have something processed, and this will give us the initial information that we need to start. The plan is figuring out where you are, where you need to be, how best we can help you get from rent to buy. Again, some folks were confused on, am I buying the house that I am renting in? The answer right now is no. We're going to just basically rent it to you and help you go from stage 1 to stage 2. Will that change? It might. It might change. We may end up putting somebody in there and saying, you know what, this is not working as easily as we were expecting. I don't want to go through this work every year or every 2 years. Maybe I'll change it to, if the renter wants to buy that particular house, it could change to that. And yes, do you like the house? Yeah, I like the house. I love it. I'd love to buy it if you would allow it. All right, let's do it. You know what I mean? So it could be that, but that's not the plan right now. That's not the idea right now. The idea right now is we own the house, we have the rentals, you rent for a year, 2 years, we go and help you buy another house, a totally separate house afterwards. That is the plan and that's the idea, just because we want to be able to help more than just one person. We want to help 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 1,000. And we can't do that if we sell you the house. Once you sold the house is no longer ours, it's yours. And everybody else gets kind of not serviced. So we'll see how this goes. If I can service more than one person, that is definitely the goal. I prefer to help multiple people, not just for the idea of helping multiple people, but we also, because we would be the real estate agents helping you buy, and we get a commission on that as you buy the new house. We benefit from pushing people into the apartment and out of the apartment as well. So it's a win-win. There's selfish motivations to the whole thing where we one, feel good because we're trying to help people, we're getting them from position 1 to position 2. But then we're also making money on the buyer agent side of things. So we'll see how this works. Hopefully it does. It'd be a great thing if I can help one person a year, 2 people a year, who knows, 3 people a year, as many people as we can achieve their real estate goals of getting out of a rental, oddly enough, by renting, and into a home, and do it in a way that they're safe. I don't want to put anybody in a house that is going to foreclose. I haven't done it yet, and I'm not looking to do that. So we want to make sure that you can do it comfortably, buy the home comfortably, keep the home, and not foreclose forever. So, all right, enough rambling. That is today's thing. Tony Melo Properties Team. Hope you're all doing well. I will download this video, put it on our Facebook page, advertise that little snippet with that link to the whatever today's Facebook page is, and other pages that I can find to put it on, and put this video on our Facebook page so that you can kind of see me going through that dialogue of discussion to discuss what it is that we're doing. Will this change? It might. It just depends on the conversation and how it develops over the next week or 2 weeks. Unlawful detainers is a problem. I need to know. The charge-offs on your credit report is a problem for now, because we're at a weakened state. We only have these 2 apartments. We don't have the ability to take a range of people. Those charge-offs, those bankruptcies, all that stuff is a problem. We're looking for folks that aren't quite there, but are close enough that we can kind of push them through quickly. And again, if this works, if this develops, if it works, we will buy more properties, and the more properties we have, we'll be able to service a larger spectrum of people that just need a little bit of help or need a crazy amount of help. So we'll see how that goes. But right now we are here, we don't have the ability to do over here, and the people that have the charge-offs and the bankruptcies and evictions and other stuff. So we'll deal with the other stuff if we get there, and we have the ability to get there. Right now we're focusing on just this one little phase of proving out whether or not we can or can't do this if it's successful, and then go from there. So, all right, Tony Melo, Melo Properties Team, 508-369-9755. Hope you're all well, and I'm sure I'll be doing more of these videos as these things develop, and go from there. See ya.